Good afternoon. It's Thursday, February 21. I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. For those of you watching online at onespotmedia.com, a very special welcome to you. Energy Minister Favour Williams continues to lament the hardships being faced by PETROJAM due to correspondent banking relation issues. Since Venezuela has been facing several sanctions from the United States and Venezuelan company PDVSA owns 49% of PETROJAM, it's been hard for Jamaica's oil refinery to do business. The Energy Minister says for over a decade, an international supplier has been providing PETROJAM with parts for its furnace. However, when PETROJAM sent a purchase order recently, the company said in an email that it was not in a position to accept it.
That you do not contact us further regarding this opportunity. That is what is happening in the marketplace. And this email came from the global compliance leader of the company.
It's one of the reasons she says the Jamaican government needs to quickly take full control of the refinery.
The opposition said, there is nothing that says we ought to do it now. Well, Mr. Speaker, the sanctions are not only wreaking havoc with the banking transactions since 2017, the daily operations of PETROJAM will soon spin out of control if we do not act today.
On Tuesday, the lower house passed the bill to forcefully take back Venezuela's 49% stake in PETROJAM. The Senate will now consider the bill. The former president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, JAS, Norman Grant, is this afternoon seeking to clear the air following accusations of financial negligence during his term at the helm of the society. The current JAS president had scathing criticisms of the previous leadership, but Mr. Grant says it's because of his leadership that the society is still operational. In January, JAS President Lenworth Fulton recommended that an audit be done to get answers to questionable financial actions under the previous leadership.
Some of these ABSs, that one in particular and some others, have never sent in an audited financial statement to the parent body.
However, the previous president, Norman Grant, is defending his stewardship. He says when he became president in 2003, he got a society which was severely in debt.
The situation was that we had, many years of unaudited financial statement. I think it's between 15 to 18 years. We had a debt stock of over, when you take into consideration the off-balance sheet debts, was close to 200 million.
He said due to the high debt which was incurred by the society prior to his ascendance to the presidency, some of the properties owned by the society were close to being seized. However, the former JAS head said based on the ingenuity of the JAS board, the properties were not taken by creditors.
The reduction of the debt was significant. We got back Dembe. We paid out that debt, negotiated it down and settled it. We also paid out the debt for the Westmoreland property. We paid out the debt for the Compton House property. And we allowed the parish association to collect some of those income while some came to the parent body to service our current debts.
The current president says he will be taking a tough stance, starting with an audit to trace what's been happening inside the branches dating back to at least the last 10 years.
I think I heard him said that, he's the sheriff in town. I know that, we have a lot of cattle in the sector, but, we're not cowboys. We're not here to shoot down or to kill. What we are here to do is to ensure that the work of the Jamaica Agricultural Society and our farmers continue, and I wish him all the best.
Herman Green, TVJ News. There's a call for stricter controls on foods sold to students on and off school compounds in the wake of yesterday's incident at Clancarty High School. Several students at the institution fell ill after they consumed sweets sold to them by another student. Children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison says schools need to be proactive and correct breaches where they are identified.
I think in terms of administration decisions based on what's happening on individual campuses, I mean, there's no one-size-fits-all. But if a school has a particular problem or a particular issue that it notices, then I think that the administration really should take appropriate steps to regulate what's happening on the compound. This is clearly a situation which started fairly innocuously. I mean, as our preliminary information suggests, this is a student who sells all the time, so nobody was unduly alarmed. But the question is, should she be selling? And if so, within what confines?
Mrs. Gordon Harrison says the Bureau of Standards Jamaica might be asked to assist in ascertaining the source of the candy. A senior citizen facing charges of grievous sexual assault and indecent assault had his bail extended when he appeared in the St. Elizabeth Parish Court on Wednesday. The accused has been identified as 71-year-old Sylvester Hales, also known as Mas Fiji, of Good Hope District in the parish. TVJ News understands that in December 2017, Mr. Hales was accused of assaulting a 12-year-old female student. The incident was reported to the Santa Cruz police, and following investigations, Mr. Hales was taken into custody and charged. When Mr. Hales reported to court on Wednesday, he told the court that he was ill, having recently suffered a stroke. He was warned not to have personal or have anyone acting on his behalf make contact with the complainant or any of her family members. Mr. Hales is scheduled to return to court on April 23. The man accused of killing his estranged wife in Seaview, St. Elizabeth last week was on Wednesday charged with murder. 53-year-old Henry Toppin, who is of a United States address, was charged following 5 hours of questioning by the police in the presence of his attorney at the Black River Police Station last night. Mr. Toppin was held while trying to board a flight to the United States hours after he allegedly shot and killed his estranged wife, Moylin William Toppin. Her cellular phone was also found in his possession. A federal government worker of Hallandale Beach, Florida, told the police that Mr. Toppin arrived in Jamaica on February 11 before returning to Southfield, St. Elizabeth on the morning of Mrs. Williams Toppin's murder. It was reported that Mrs. Williams Toppin, who was a contracted school bus operator, was preparing for work when she was accosted by Mr. Toppin, who was hiding in her bus. She reportedly drove a short distance before he pulled a firearm and shot her twice in the head before making his escape. Mrs. William Toppin was rushed to hospital where she was pronounced dead. Mr. Toppin is scheduled to make his first appearance in court next week. The man who was held and charged for damaging a police vehicle during the February 5 standoff between police and a bus driver in Spalding, Clarendon, will have to pay up. Roger Brown was ordered to pay to fix the police service vehicle when he appeared in court yesterday. Head of the Area 2 Police, Assistant Commissioner Clifford Chambers, gave an update at the meeting with taxi operators and other stakeholders yesterday.
He pleaded guilty to the offense of malicious destruction of property, and he was fined $126,000 in terms of repairing that he is required to have done to the vehicle. He is offered bail to return to court on the 17th of April, and at which point, based on what he has done so far, the court will further pass down judgment based on what is just and fair given the situation.
Meanwhile, as the police move ahead with plans to restore public order to the town of Spalding, head of the Area 3 Police, Assistant Commissioner Clifford Chambers, wants emphasis placed on erecting road signs in no parking and no stopping zones. TVJ's Krista Campbell has the details.
With an audience of taxi operators, the Area 3 Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner Clifford Chambers, addressed head-on the public disorder mostly caused by motorists using the overcrowded town of Spalding, which borders Clarendon and Manchester. Overcrowded because of the increasing number of business places and other institutions located in the area, as well as the additional number of persons who are now using the town as a result of the growing businesses. Member of Parliament for Northwestern Clarendon, Richard Azan, pointed out that there's too much blatant disregard for road traffic laws in the town.
So it's not only taxi operator. They have some business people feel that they have a right to park anywhere. And if it is wrong for the taxi operator, it can be right for the business people too.
He says it points to a larger issue of disregard for law and order which must be addressed. ACP Chambers says aside from assigning more police to patrol the town, more road markings are needed to help address the problem with traffic congestion. Take, for instance, Main Street, where parking should not be allowed on the left-hand side of the roadway all the way down to the primary school. He says the National Works Agency has expressed challenges erecting street signs in some areas, but ACP Chambers is suggesting alternatives.
The sidewalk is so narrow that they cannot put up a sign to say no parking. And we understand the civil litigation which can happen if persons should have an accident involving those signs, whether it's a blind man, etc. But in the corporate area, we have seen where similar space is managed by just the writing of no parking or no stopping on the sidewalk itself.
As for Zinc Shop Road,
we are asking that the left-hand side, for example, be marked as a no parking to facilitate the broader side, which is the right side, going out, to ensure that we have parking on that side. It can facilitate 2 lanes of traffic, and that will facilitate the flow.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
The public's assistance is being sought in locating 79-year-old Randolph Forrest, otherwise called Ranny, of a Three Oaks Gardens address in St. Andrew. He's of dark complexion and was last seen on February 18. When he went missing, he was wearing a plaid pajama pants and purple t-shirt. Anyone knowing his whereabouts can contact Nadine Forrest at 876-878-9897 or 876-549-5253.